All right, now I found the record button. Here we go. It's April 10th. And I've been actually, there's so many things I got in the fire right now. It's making my head spin. There's so many things I am in the midst of, but one of them, we always do our year-end process. I've got some really cool stuff to add into the year-end process for you guys. So you have that to look forward to coming up. I may not even wait till the end of the year to share it with you. So got that. I've got a couple of, I'm working with a bunch of different programmers now on different AI tools. The AI stuff is just fast and furious, and it's rolling out faster than I can even keep up with it. Like, I've got four different products to release that I haven't even had a chance now to get in and create the products and cartridge to actually sell them yet. But I've got them all in the burner. They're going to be rolling out here. I hate to say when because I've got so much stuff going on. I haven't even had a chance to read the updated sales letter for our ClickBank launch. And that's a pretty high priority. I haven't even got to that yet. So I was supposed to go fishing this weekend. I'm not going. I'm going to stay home, put my nose to the grindstone. And Brady's probably going, yes, yes, right on. Because he's waiting for all that stuff. But we have for any of you guys that know, it's really cool. The Long Beach Grand Prix is all being set up right now. So it's basically right behind my boat here. And for me to get to the boat this morning, I had to actually drive on the racetrack. They've got it all caged in, and it's really cool. So I got to run the track this morning about 5 o'clock this morning, and pretty cool. I knew that was the only time I was going to be able to get down here, so I got up early and did my thing and got on the track. But that's going to start up officially tomorrow, so I'm going to try and get out of here, get home, and I'm going to spend the whole weekend just getting everything up to speed. So.
Good luck getting out.
Yeah, well, getting out I can do because I can go through the parking lots down to the end and onto the beach, and I can run across the sand to get it up into the up into the city. I can do that. I have an escape route. So anyway, before we get cooking here, does anybody have any questions before we get rolling? I'm going to bring Brady out and he's going to talk a little bit about acquisition air. We haven't really discussed that lately. I've been completely on other projects. So Brady's got his head in that whole program, developing it, working with the programmers, and Connie is in there answering questions. So both of them are more up to speed on acquisition error than I am. So it's funny. I have people that come to me and they're like they want help with acquisition error. I'm like, oh, I'm not your guy. You need Brady or Connie. They're going to help you way more than I can. So anyway, if there's no questions, I'm going to bring him out, let him kind of go over some of the new stuff because there's new and cool features that we've been kind of talking about since the beginning, and now they're actually coming to life, coming to fruition. And so far, the people that have been exposed to them are very excited about them. So we wanted to make everybody aware, and I'm just gonna be right up front with you. Acquisition error is not for everybody. So don't think like, oh my God, I got to get in on this. Acquisition error is for people that are running cold email campaigns or running Facebook campaigns. Like if you know how to do cold email and you're good at it, it might be a great product for you. If you're running Facebook ads and you could use a lookalike audience, fantastic to build lookalike audiences to boost your Facebook sales. But if you are not doing Facebook and you don't know how to do cold email, I would steer clear of it because it's like any other traffic source. If you're not ready and dialed into it, it's just going to be expensive. So it's like anything else. It's like if you're running a pay-per-click campaign in Google and you don't have a conversion funnel in place, that's a mistake. It's going to just be really expensive for you. Same thing with acquisition error. It's a cold email program. So if you don't have a cold email sequence in that works, again, going to be very expensive. So just keep that in mind. Some of you might hear some things and like think, oh my God, I got to get in on this. You probably don't. You will know if it's for you. But you also might get an idea of, oh my God, I know somebody. I know somebody that runs an agency. They do cold email. You can make money on that by the referral program. You can use our affiliate link, hook them up, and then you can make money off of them. So lots of opportunities. So all right, last chance. Any questions before I break,
Yes,
Brady? Yeah, go ahead,
over
Roger.
here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Roger.
Okay, I'm trying to sign in and I've erased, backspaced, got rid of spaces as far as I could, but it wouldn't let me in.
And which
So maybe,
what are you trying to get into?
I guess the first thing that came to me was for a membership portal for
For the
Dominators. And then that leads to the
okay.
question, do I have to do two sign-ins for the two things?
Yes, there are
Oh,
two. Like if you got Act has a membership portal, which you get an email for. And then there's the Quantum, which you get a different email for, and it's a different login. So yes,
oh.
there are two different logins.
This one
Sometimes,
just says Dominators.
okay, so that's for the membership portal, and
Mhm.
that login should work with the URL that came with it.
Yeah.
But then
Uh,
if you go to Quantum and you try and log in, that login's not going to work. You get a different email for the Quantum login.
hmm. Maybe that would be the next thing that would be getting the quantity. But first, the membership portal, could I share and then we'll see? I've got my password here.
Yeah. I
Although,
tell you what, so you're not showing anything you shouldn't. Why don't you email me that and I'll test it here and see if it works. If it works, if it doesn't work for me, then we got a problem.
yeah, okay. And then I think support team also sent something, although I got to find it again. They
Okay.
said this should work, and that didn't work either.
Okay, well send it to me so I can test it because sometimes the passwords change and then we have to go reset them. So email me at john@internetdominators.com
Yeah.
and I'll test that for you.
Okay.
Make sure it's working.
Okay. I'll send that later this afternoon since I'm trying to be in two places at once
Oh, okay.
today.
Okay. Yeah, whenever you have something that doesn't work, put in the URL that you're trying to log into and then the
Hmm.
username and the password that you're using. And that
Hmm.
way I can test it. If it doesn't work for me, then I can dig in to figure out what's wrong with it. And
Okay, great.
if it does work for me, then we might try a different browser, might try yeah, flushing your cache, things like
Hmm.
that. Another one, I know Ron was having trouble getting into Quantum.
Yeah.
And, I tested it. I knew it worked. I sent it back to him. He said it still didn't work. And then when I saw him at Craig's event, he had his computer and he's like, hey, this just doesn't work. I walked over to his computer, logged right in.
Hmm.
What he was doing, he was copying the password, which I encourage you to do because sometimes it's like a capital I and it could be a lowercase l. You just don't know.
Hmm.
So copy the password always, but make sure you don't have a space on the front or the back. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times when you do a copy, it'll have an extra space and that will screw up your login.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was trying. I would delete at the end and I would delete at the beginning, so they'd be gone. And then put it, I would click submit, and then it would say doesn't work. Then I'd be back there and there would be spaces,
Yeah.
either one or front, back, or both. And so I would delete them again and try again, and then the spaces would reappear.
That sounds like cache issue really with your computer.
Hmm.
Maybe try what browser are you using?
Let's see, I haven't looked. It's probably
So like Firefox or Chrome
it
or
was it should be Chrome, but I haven't
okay.
haven't looked at it.
Okay, well, whatever you're using, just try a different one. Most computers now have Edge on them if it's an IBM computer.
Hmm.
Try that. I use Firefox. I use Firefox for almost everything because I like it. I like it better than Chrome.
Hmm.
Whenever I have a problem with anything in Firefox, I'll immediately test it in Chrome. And
Hmm.
sometimes there's some stuff that's just not compatible with one or the other.
Okay, yeah, I'll go into Firefox and then put the password information in and see if that works better. So, yeah, I'll try those and I'll let you know one way or another by late this afternoon then.
Okay. But yeah, if you have trouble, just send the exact thing that you're trying to me so I can test it.
Hmm.
And if I can't get it to work, then I'll reset your password and we'll go that route.
Yeah, great. Okay, thanks a lot.
All right, you got it. That
Hmm.
helps me too because I know what you're trying to log into.
Hmm.
Because we have like so many logins. Uh, Here's another thing. I get people all the time that ask me about logins, and in a lot of cases, they're trying to log into the wrong thing, and they don't know which one to log into. So on my Internet Dominators site, right at the very top in the navigation bar, there's a link that says client logins. When you click on that, you'll see there's a whole bunch of different things that I have that you can log into. And sometimes that will, if you forgot where to log in, that'll help you figure out where to go. Because we've got stuff for the ACT program, we've got stuff for all of our different tools, we've got stuff for we run a different billing system for our operation for web development and hosting as well. So that's a different login. So we have a lot of different systems to log into.
Okay.
So I put that one page up that's got it's kind of a menu of stuff of where to go to log into particular things.
Okay, I'll look at that. Meanwhile, it's membership uh, then the axe is a second, and, and there's would quantum be a third, or would axe cover that?
Well,
And
ACT and the Dominator membership are one in the same. So
okay.
that's going to be one login for that system, and that's where all the training is. That's where all the
Mhm.
videos are. And then Quantum is a different system altogether, so it has its own login.
Okay.
And now at this point, when you buy ACT, when you get the ACT program or the Dominator Club or any of that stuff, Quantum is included in that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll get into axe first.
all right,
Membership and axe. All
cool.
right. Talk to you later, and thanks again.
All right, you got it.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, Brady, are you ready to take the helm here for a minute?
I'm here. I'm gonna leave my camera off. I don't have Starlink like you, John, so I'm out here in the boonies in Ireland. So if I turn my camera on, sometimes if I share screen, it doesn't work very well. So we'll try it and see what happens.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn my sound camera off too because there's about to be some noise here just for
Cool.
a minute.
And to what Roger said too, with what I've done with the ACT members site, you're welcome to go take a look at it, or we can look at it later on this call, John, if you have other things not planned. But you probably don't even really have to go to Quantum if you have ACT and Quantum anymore to a separate site. I've migrated pretty much everything and added a bunch of stuff in the last 2 to 3 days if you haven't seen it. So even if you have ACT and not Quantum, you're going to see Quantum, just not be able to access it, but you'll see what it's worth or what it is. So, just a side note for Roger's question or phrase there. Acquisition Air. Let's talk about Acquisition Air. So there has been quite a bit of changes. If you've been on the calls here in the last couple months, about a month or so ago, we actually launched in partnership with Exact Digital. So a lot of folks have came to the table. They've said, "Hey, we love what Acquisition Air has to bring to the table, but we don't have a clue what to do with the leads." And Exact Digital will take those leads or the leads that they provide, but preferably acquisition air leads that we generate. And they can help you with building, say, Facebook lookalike audiences or meta ads, display ads, all that kind of stuff. They can take it to CTV where you can get to your streaming devices and things. Because what we've noticed over the last 12, 15 months, whatever, 18 months that Acquisition Air has even been launched is we started with email, and there's very few people that are really good at cold email. And from a strategic standpoint, email may not be the only and best way to reach people in today's society. People are on their phones, they're on social media, they're sitting in front of their TV, and they're now getting. It's funny. I tell my kids all the time when a display ad comes up, I'm like, "Yeah, this is what we had to deal with the whole time: is commercials. Get used to it, right?" So display ads on your streaming devices now, and a mailbox power integration. That you're going to your mailbox. It may not be for everybody. A lot of times that's, your roofers and things, but it works, or people wouldn't do it. So that omni-channel marketing is what Exact Digital does. And the unique part about them is they white label their services. So you may have, a small business, but they can basically run your programmatic ads, branch, if you will, of your business, and you don't have to worry about it. So you just check in with Kinsey at Exact Digital, using the acquisition area leads that you've purchased, or using what they recommend. Either way, whatever creates success for you, we're open to. That webinar is in the Dominators weekly calls on YouTube, and as well as in the ACT membership if you want to replay, or how to get a free discovery call with Exact just to see if it's even something that would be beneficial to you. So that is one thing that has happened. The next thing I would say is for Site AI, where you can actually identify people that are coming to a specific website that you or your customers that you're working with own and run. We have the ability, actually, I'll share my screen because there's a little bit to this now. Give me a sec here. Can everybody see that? Give me a thumbs up. So I can't see everybody. Maybe it's
Yeah,
somebody in the chat.
saying campaign
Okay,
management.
cool. Yeah, thanks, Pam. So SitePop, for instance, move this here. All right. So just this one here. So when you go in and set up a campaign now, you can have up to 5 URLs. Early on, a lot of people are like, "Hey, listen, we're getting a lot of traffic from this website, or this part of our website, or this page of our website, or this page we really don't care about." Or, "Hey, we're actually getting traffic from a state that we've never marketed to." Well, one, we helped a lot of people with their SEO because they didn't realize they had a leak. But we now have the ability to be able to place the code on up to 5 URLs for your web page, or your web website. But the same thing applies as far as the information. I'll cover Search 2.0 and some of the advanced search features we have available. Those are not available for Site currently. We still just have phone number, home address, and email address as the contact points for these folks that are coming to your website or landing on your website, up to 5 URLs. And then down here, we have the ability to exclude or include selected states. Again, like I said, some folks were a little bit disgruntled because they were paying for leads that really it was their fault because it's coming to their website, but it was a random state somewhere that they didn't want to pay for. They don't want to pay for the state they live in or whatever it might be. So we do have the ability to select by state as well as to what leads you actually identify and pay for. But by default, as the bottom says, it's going to deliver context from all the states of the USA if you don't select one of those and put certain states in. So that is Site AI as far as some updates there. Again, the goal is to be able to provide Site with some of the advanced features with Search 2.0. But before we go there, I do want to mention Search AI. I don't even know if we have more than a handful of customers that are currently using any type of Search AI. This was the first type of search that we were generating leads with. It's not a bad type. It costs a little bit more, but we are sunsetting Search AI. So it will be gone from the dashboard here very soon. I think by the end of this week, the tech team had said, but don't use Search AI because it probably won't last much longer than this call. But Search 2.0, we've done some different things with Search 2.0. People have asked, hey, can we figure out other data points besides just mailing address and email and all that kind of stuff? So if you go here to add campaign, put in the campaign name, the targeting, and then here's the new feature that we have for identifying secondary search traffic of who's actually in near real time searching for or reading about certain keywords. But instead of just getting their phone number, their home address, and their email address, and I will say for those that are new, we don't really care about the phone numbers. We have not. Those are not ran through the DNC. They're very inaccurate. We would definitely go with the home address and email address. Those are highly accurate, as in high 90s. of accuracy. But basic information will just include these three things, and then you have the ability to check or uncheck which ones you do or do not want. The advanced information, though, gets a lot more data points on a spreadsheet. And you can go through and just check all of these or check a couple of these, depending on what sector or industry you're working with. If you want to know household industry, information, what ages there are, financial information, household income, median household income, net worth, credit score, range, what are their occupations, what are their identification, male, female, married, voter, urbanicity, marketing indicators, so subscribers, charity interests, et cetera, real estate, so homeowner, length of residence, home price, home value. You guys can read the screen, but a lot of different points that instead of just understanding, hey, what's their home address, what's their email address, or the first two email addresses that would be the best, you're going to get to have the ability at no upcharge, the same price that you pay 45 cents to an agency or to a private plane client of ours per identified contact point. In other words, lead. So the advanced information is a big upgrade. It took a lot to finally get this going, but that is Search 2.0. And then I'll run through just a few more things, and anybody has any questions, we can do that. As a matter of fact, oh, the biggest thing. So you see here it says beta besides B2B AI. So we have B2B leads. No longer is this a consumer-based database here. This is a business consumer or business domain-based, this is a business domain database of people. It is, different than a consumer-based. So with this, like I'll go in and I'll show you, it's exactly the same way you would set up a campaign. You would go in here just like a search campaign, and you would put in all the information as well as the keywords you're searching for. So this is not just going to go out like, I'm not putting anything else down, but like Instantly, for instance, offers a service where you can find business leads, and it'll go out and it'll scrape every, CMO at a company, and you can blast out an email to them. Well, this is not going to go out and find every CMO. It's going to go out and find, for instance, if I go into this campaign, it's going to actually go out and find people that are relevant to what they're searching for. So what I mean by that is all of these parameters you put in, but down here, for instance, I don't know, just on top of mind, SEO software. So I put in SEO software. Oh, I did it twice. It's going to go out and it's going to identify anybody that's searching through secondary search networks, SEO software. And then when that lead comes in, it's going to show you. Can you guys still see this? Everybody still there?
Yeah.
A spreadsheet?
Yeah, did you see the spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay. So when a lead comes in now, it's going to show you first name, last name, up to 2 emails, their address, but then it's going to start showing you all business information on that lead. It's not going to show you consumer based on the keyword that they were searching for. Here's the keyword. So if they were searching for SEO software, but they work at, I don't know, aicompany.com, right? It's going to show you all the stats based on that one individual and what they were searching for. So that is B2B AI. That is a little bit different pricing. That is 95 cents to you as a client.
That's per contact rating?
Yes, per contact. So per line on that spreadsheet, correct. Yep. With B2B, there obviously is no, household income and stuff because that's specifically a B2B database. The Search 2.0 and this side AI is a consumer database. So I'll ask Connie if I'm missing anything there, leaving anything out that we've had questions about and stuff from support tickets. But overall, that is the changes up to this point. As far as what is coming, I am going to be honest. I have been involved and I've helped out and kept the dev team in communication and what we're doing, but I have been very much so involved with making sure that the ClickBank offer and some other things moving forward are moving forward. So I have to see what's coming next. Yes,
Can you
Pam.
give me the elevator pitch on what acquisition air is and does? I really don't know.
Yep. So acquisition air is it's going to go out and it's going to identify anybody and everybody that's searching for or reading about in near real time through secondary search networks through keyword search. And it's going to throw those context, I call them audience, leads, whatever term you want to give it. I like to say audience because it was nobody that raised their hand that's looking for Pam Hoffman's business or looking to buy your book, right? It's people that are searching for or reading about certain keywords online through secondary search networks. And if you're wondering what secondary search networks, the best thing I can tell you is this. About a year ago, I was looking for a gun. I went to Google. Actually, I think it was DuckDuckGo. I typed in Glock 19 red dot sight. That's where I started. Like John always says, where they end is typically better. So when it sent me to all the ranks of pages, I think it was guns.com. I went to guns.com and I typed the same thing back in when I got to guns.com. That is a secondary search box. There's millions of those all across the internet. And Google likes to say they're 80% of search, and that is not true. They're 80% of search engine, not search. They're a pinprick, as John Limbacher said a year ago, compared to search on the internet. So we're being able to go out and identify through large data partners in near real time of who's searching for or reading about these certain keywords, a 1, 2, or 3 word keyword phrase. And then they're going to send that to you in the form of a Google sheet, or we have other integrations and things with Go High Level, Kartra, Zapier, Mailbox Power, all of those to be able to send those in real time through an email or whatever you want to do with them. So
now we've got Thank you. That's a great overview. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's basically it's a lead gen software that's AI driven. It's like the first of its kind. There's several other products on the market that are similar for the site leads. That technology's been around for quite a while, but when we got this new technology developed, I haven't seen anyone on the market that's doing what we're doing as far as the search leads. Truly identifying off those secondary search boxes and being able to deliver them in real time. That's quite a feat to perform. And when we rolled it out, I thought, oh my God, this is it. We are going to kill it. But there's a nuance to it, being the cold email part. Like if somebody goes to search, let's say they search on Google and they see your listing and they click on it, they almost know you because Google has referred you to them. It is, believe it or not, it's a completely different scenario. It's hard to imagine that little nuance would make such a big difference, but it does. We proved it. When you email them out of the blue, you know they were looking for that thing, but they have no correlation to you. They're not looking for your email. They're not expecting your email. It's almost like you're mind reading and you show up out of thin air. But like I said, if you're not good at cold email, you won't know how to make a subject line that grabs their attention. You won't know how to pull them into your funnel. You won't know how to do a lot of the things that are necessary in a cold email scenario. So
yeah, if I get an email like that, it's out the airlock. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I'm interested in the subject line, and I often am, and I don't know how they got that, so somebody out there knows how to do this without your AI tool, maybe.
Yeah.
I just can't even. Now, if you could put me in front of their path as they go along in the world,
yeah,
that might be more interesting because they're not getting a spam email.
Well, see, here's where the Facebook lookalike audiences come into play. So we take a database of all these people that are searching for those keywords. We get their identity, we make a list, and then we go over to Facebook and we upload that and we say, this is a list of people that are interested in our product. They don't know it, but we do. They're interested in our product. So it's a lookalike audience. And we say we would like to advertise to these type of people. Then they'll take the 1,000 or so that we upload and they'll match those 1,000 up against their database of, millions and millions of people. And they'll come back and they'll say, oh, okay, well, there's about 10,000 people that match this criteria. We can place your ads in front of them. And then what you just said happens. You show up in their path. And
so that's almost the same as like when you set up a Facebook ad and you can pick the age, the gender, all the different things, but you're automating it, it sounds like.
yeah, and it's different. It's better than that because just picking the age and the gender, that's a real broad stroke audience.
Yeah, but Facebook has tons of that stuff. You can pinpoint a single person if you really had to. Seriously, it's amazing in there.
But when you add the interest level that they've actually taken the action of the interest of running a search for that keyword, that now takes it up into the stratosphere.
Yeah, that sounds a little different.
Yeah.
And that's what acquisition of air does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm getting this picture now. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's definitely not for everyone. I want to make that really clear. If you're running Facebook ads or you've got a company and they're doing well for you, adding this in could like be a multiplier. But if you're just getting started and you don't have experience with advertising or running ads or any of that stuff, it's not the place to start. It's not the place to cut your teeth.
or not pick up the phone, I guess. Schedule a call with Kinsey and have Exact Digital do it for you.
Yeah.
There was Greg, I just want to make sure everybody was clear because I did send it to everybody. If somebody on this call, or maybe somebody, I guess, maybe one of your clients is using the Search AI feature, they will not be automatically transferred to new campaigns inside of Search 2.0 whenever it's sunsetted. So those will need to be manually added as new campaigns inside of Search 2.0. And, there's very, very few instances where someone maybe got more leads through Search AI or something. This is maybe why they're still using it. But for everybody else, Search 2.0 is an absolute no-brainer. It's a better search, it's more accurate, and it's less money per lead. It's from $1.99 to 45 cents. So Search 2.0 is here to stay, and Search AI is gone.
Now, also, most of you, I think all of you really are kind of one way or another going through the ACT program. I know there's still a lot that haven't actually watched the videos. You've just, tuned into the calls and are kind of learning along the way. But that said, the whole purpose of this is to develop a marketing campaign, which is also known as a funnel. So the idea behind all of this is to create a funnel, an automated funnel that sells your stuff. It doesn't matter what you're selling. You could be selling time, you could be selling consulting, you could be selling widgets, you could be selling a membership site, you could be selling tractors. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're selling, you have to sell it. Somebody has to sell it. So you can either be a salesman, you can hire a salesman, or you can make a marketing funnel. It does your presentation for you. Any way you slice it, you have to figure out how to sell it. Like the words that need to be said, the objections that need to be overcome, the attention that needs to be grabbed. You need all of that stuff. And that's what the ACT program is all about. It's giving you all the pieces, all the functionality to do that in any market, to any market for any product, any service, whatever it is, it's all the same. It's going to take a sale. It's going to take a presentation. It's going to take overcoming objections. So, and that's where Quantum comes in, because as long as I've taught the ACT program, I have yet to find somebody that came back with a big idea that I looked at and said, that's perfect. I usually look at it and I'm like, okay, there's 3 pieces. Where's the promise? That's where it all starts. A big idea has to have a promise. Where's the promise? How could you have created a big idea without a promise? And it's just like I get the deer in the headlights stare and like, oh, okay, well, let me try it again. But with the tools in Quantum, You no longer have to do that. You just answer a couple questions and then it does the big idea formula for you. Same thing with overcoming an objection, all the stuff that was very, very difficult. And not only for you guys, it was difficult for me when I first started doing this stuff. I struggled a lot with big ideas and all that. It was just like a foreign concept to me. I could see the ad agencies do it. I knew the formula, but doing it was a different story. And that's where, you guys have the advantage of all the quantum tools because I've put those together for you. I didn't have that. I had to struggle through it the hard way to learn it and get good at it. I'm really good at it now because I've been doing this game for such a long time for so many different types of products. But for you guys, you have kind of the easy button, and that's what Brady has put into the back end in the membership area. You've got the easy button, the AI easy button now. And there's a few tools that I haven't developed yet that kind of go along with the ACT protocol. And probably by the end of the month, I'll probably have all those tools in there as well. Like there's one for timeline, there's one for freedom formula. There's a few that I just didn't think to do. I was doing the ones that were really top of mind, like big idea and overcoming objections and lead magnets, grabbing attention and all that stuff. So that's what it's all about. But now I've actually come across one of my old buddies out of the internet marketing world. We go back to even before I even got into the internet marketing space. He was in it. We both entered into SEO about the same time, but for different reasons. He entered in it for himself. He learned SEO for himself. He made a lot of money for himself. I entered into it for the commercial world. I did SEO for big companies and I made them a lot of money. I made a lot of money in the process, but we kind of had these two very distinct different paths. We kind of came together in 2010 when I crossed over and went to the dark side. I came into the internet marketing space. and and anyway, he has gone through pretty much the same journey as I have. I guarantee you, he follows the ACT program, but he doesn't know what the ACT program is. But it's a standard protocol that's been used for hundreds of years in ad agencies. And he uses it. When I was looking at his stuff, looking at his sales copy, I'm like, oh my God, this is like the perfect example of an ACT marketing protocol marketing funnel. He did it to the T. And what he's selling now is he's selling the fact that he will do your campaign for you. He's not cheap. But there are some people that aren't looking for cheap. They're looking for do it for me, not do it with me. Like I'm really good at the do it for the do-it-yourselfers. I can give you all the tools and training you need to do it yourself. And that's great. I got that covered. I can even do it with you, like in my apprentice program where I work one-on-one with people to help them implement their campaigns. So I've got that covered. I've got the do it yourself and the do it with you. What I don't have covered is the do it for you. I don't have time to do this stuff for you, nor do I want to. I'm a little on the lazy side. So he's come in and he's actually offering the do it for you service. He's going to build campaigns out. And I got to tell you, I trust this guy to do that. There's very, very few people that I would trust to refer to pass on to do a marketing campaign like that, complete, like with all the upsells, downsells, follow-up sequences. He knows how to do market research. He knows how to figure out the language of your prospects. He knows how to write to them. He's got all the skill set. And when I say he's not cheap, for what he's offering, I think it's a bargain price, honestly. So if anybody is interested in that, I have a meeting with him tomorrow to discuss like if he's willing to do a better deal for us. So I'll
John,
know.
excuse me, who are you talking about?
His name's Chris Rimple.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, and most of you probably don't know him. He's not like a Frank Kern that was out and, big and bold in your face. He's the real deal. He's like the Wizard of Oz, just like I've been for all those years. So, but I totally trust him. I've done stuff with him in the past. I know you talk about integrity. He's just like me. He's on the same plane integrity wise. So, good guy. And I'm going to see if, see what I can get him to cough up for us for anybody. And again, I know it's like acquisition air. It's not for everyone.
Chris is good people.
Yeah, he really is. So anyway, for anybody that wants that, we will have finally a done for you service by somebody that really knows their shit. So I've got all kinds of people that I went down the road trying to negotiate this with, but when it came down to it, I didn't find anybody that I would pass through to you guys. So happy to finally find that, plug that hole. All right, Arba, you got your hand up.
Yes. I can't remember if it was last week that I shared that I said I was really going to try to get into the ACT, the
Yeah,
ACT protocol. I did it.
awesome.
Um, and so I'm making progress. What I wanted to share or give a testimony, at least my personal testimony, is that so I started out on it and I had put in there what I thought I wanted to market. And then when I got to the hears and fears,
Okay.
and then I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm ready to address those hears and fears. And so I said, let me go back to the start again. And I went back and I kind of did it a different way. And then when I got to the hears and fears, I was like, okay, I can handle those. So what I just wanted to say was what was really great about that is just imagine where I've been doing it of, throwing something out there and thinking I'm like coming up with something great and then wondering why am I not really getting any response. So this just right out the bat helped me to kind of go back and say maybe that's not what I want to do and then find something that I could do. And it just took a little bit of tweaking to I think what I originally, just to say what it originally, I was going to try to market a training subscription to recordings, right?
Mhm.
And then I went for, because it gives you a list of all of the different um, who to build the buyer, from. So I
Uh-huh.
was going for the top. I was like, oh, I'm going to go for the top with
Yeah.
these three. And then when I got to the here's and fears and what that group expected and what my competition was, I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
do that. So I just wanted to thank you. So I'm making progress with it and I'll continually let you know.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you for the update. Were you on the call? I don't know how many weeks ago it was, but I went really hardcore on the fact that I want you to fail.
I may have been, I don't know, but that's my mantra anyway.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hit that. Like you brought up a really good point. The object is to fail fast. The
Yeah,
object,
I remember that one.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, the
Yeah.
object is to find the flaws and fail quickly so you can find the real thing and get to profit as quickly as
Yes.
possible.
Yes. And that's what I love about that. It allows me to do it
Yeah.
personally without putting myself out there like that.
Exactly. Yeah, those tools, it's amazing the insight that AI can give us. It's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know like where that was when I was growing up. Like even the AI, the AIO, the optimization, when I started into this industry, it wasn't in SEO. I started in web development hosting. And it wasn't until I got all my clients up with websites I'm like, okay, now what am I going to do? I've got all these people that could give me a lot more money if I can find what they need next. Again, it's the timeline. They have a website. Now, what do they need next? They need traffic, right? Perfect
And that's
solution.
where I'm at. And that's why this is so great for me because I've been designing websites since the 90s and
Yeah.
I do have a really good client base and this is what they want. They want me to help them with campaigns, but
Yeah.
I was like, no, I think I shared that with Brady. And but now once I do my first one, I can see where I can now go back to my existing client base and help them with their
Yeah.
campaigns.
Yeah. They all want help. They all need it. Um, and you can offer that service.
Yeah.
If you want to do the work, that's another thing.
No,
If
I'm not
you
going to
want to
do
do
it.
the
You see
work,
my thing, it says done with you.
yeah,
I'm with
okay,
the done with you. I'm
there
not
you
going to
go.
do it for them. Mm-mm.
There you go. Yeah, that's the thing. You got to do what you love, but don't let it kill you.
Right.
But like in SEO originally, when I started into it, it seemed very intuitive for me for some reason. I just saw the landscape and I thought and this was really weird because I was actually going to a seminar. It was a 2-day, it was like a weekend event where they were teaching web development tactics and stuff and how to use this particular software I was using called NetObject Fusion. And when it got to the point where it was time to put in the meta tags, the female teacher, she had the chalkboard and she's writing out how to do a meta tag for your title. And I looked at it and I said, that's not right. And I didn't know. I had no training, no knowledge, no nothing of the subject, but I just looked at what she had on the board. I'm like, that's not right. That's not going to work. And she said, well, would you like to come up here and correct me? And I'm like, I would love to. So I went up, erased her stuff, and put how it should be. And it was purely how I thought it should be. I didn't know definitively that that's the way it should be, but to me, that's the way it should have been. And she made a call up the hill to somebody and found out that the book she was teaching from was wrong. And I was right.
Were you
And
on a Ruckus?
and and from there, I was really intrigued with the whole SEO thing because I had never, and I thought this is brilliant. I can sell search to all these people that I've built these websites for. So I started looking into it and delved into it. And whatever I go on, it's like I have somewhat of an addictive personality. So whatever I'm going to do, it's going to be full bore. The good thing I never tried drugs because I'd probably be dead. But anyway, I went full bore on the whole SEO thing, and I had to learn a lot. There was a lot I had to learn, especially along the way. But the way I got so good at it was having such a big base. Like most people were just doing it for themselves. I'm doing it for 100 customers that are all paying me a lot of money to make mistakes for them. So I had that advantage over everyone else that was in the IM space, just dabbling, doing it for themselves. So I had a huge leg up on everyone else because it's like, you can't build an army without a budget for war, right? Well, I had a budget for war. So I built an army of knowledge. And I look back at how that transpired and the time and the pain of having to test all this stuff to figure it out. And today I go to Perplexity and had about a half day conversation with it about how it works, its inner workings, how to train it. And I knew pretty much everything I would need to know about AIO in a half a day without making any mistakes, without hardly any effort on my part, just sitting with a bucket of popcorn, asking questions and learning. So it's like, where the hell was that? When I was trying to figure out SEO. Pretty cool place that we live in these days. It's just awesome. and the opportunities, like for all of the people that did SEO and it just became a bloodbath, with the competition and all that, they could easily shift into AI optimization and be right back in the golden days, where everybody wanted it, nobody knew how to do it, they'd pay a lot of money for it, and it was highly valuable and little to no competition. It's almost like I stepped into a time machine, went back 20 years, and got out and said, wow, this looks really cool. Happy to be here. So lots of opportunity. One of the things, as I get older, I want to work less and less all the time. And it seems like for the last year, I've done anything but work less. But I've always thought, I'm willing to work very hard for short bursts of time in effort to, build a really good future. And that's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm setting myself up to ride this wave. I'm paddling out in big surf. And it's really a cool opportunity. But for anyone that wants to do this, I've found that where the money is, it's not so much in offering the services. The services take a lot of effort. It's a drain on you. You've got to have employees to do the stuff. You've got to manage it. There's a lot to scaling up a service business of any kind. It's a lot of minutia. And I'm just to the point in my life where I don't want any of that anymore. I want easy. I want the easy button to life. And where I've found it is in software, selling software. And that's why I'm offering these white label opportunities for people that want to white label quantum and have their own software to sell. I guarantee you, it's a much better life when you're selling software and money's coming in for something that you provide of high value than you selling stuff and have to build it. And then you have to find a new buyer next month and you got to sell more stuff. The software they keep paying for month after month, as long as you provide value. The web hosting business was great for a long time, but I'm to the point where even the small amount of customer service in that, I'm not interested in anymore. So at some point, I might have a conversation with Mr. Tim there about fixing my problem there. But I'm telling you, like software, the other night I changed the header on my website on Internet Dominators. I've been struggling for the last 40 years to figure out who I want to be when I grow up, right? That's the hardest thing to do. When somebody asks you, "Oh, what do you do?" I've never really known how to answer that. Like, who am I? I don't really know. And it's like I found the perfect solution for it. Now, when somebody asks me, what do you do? I say, what do you need? Because I can either do it or I can point you in the right direction. What do you need? It's not about what do I do. It's about what you need. And it always is. It's always about what your customers need. But what I've kind of realized, is what I do is I do software. So, and I'm not a developer. I'm not a programmer. I'm not that guy. I am an opportunist. I'm looking for opportunity, and that's where I've found the biggest opportunities in this business is in selling software. I look at how much I made selling the SitePop software, and it's over $1 million for little to no effort, over a period of time. And then now Quantum is kicking butt, and all these different Build a Becky. I've got all these software programs where you sell it. And yeah, there might be a little bit of support, but nothing like doing services. Nothing even close. So I changed my tagline on the website to Internet Dominators. What is it? It's high performance marketing software powered by AI. So I'm getting close to figuring out what I want to be when I grow up. This is the moral of the story. And it took a lot of years to get there. But that is a big opportunity for any of you, for any markets that you want to go into, is to develop your own software for that industry. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, they all need AI. They're all going to be using AI. They're all going to get frustrated from AI because they don't know how to prompt it. They don't know how to talk to the machine. So you can use AI to figure out what any industry needs, how you can help them with these GPTs. And quantum, that's all it is. Quantum is a suite of GPTs. It's not advanced software. It's not doing like automations and robotics and all, all this fancy stuff. It's not like that. It's simple GPTs that anybody can make, but few know how to. And even fewer know how to wrap it in a software that gives you a suite that you could actually sell to someone. That's what quantum is. It's a suite of GPTs. You can build any GPTs you want for any industry. You can either use my tools as a base or you can eliminate them. You can take any of my tools, rebrand them, put your own names to them, put your colors to it, put your logo on it, and away you go with your own software to sell to your industry. It's really cool. It's a really cool business. So if you're looking for something to do or you're not happy with the results of what you're doing, maybe you're not making enough, maybe you're working too hard, it's something to think about. It's really, really cool. Like, I know how hard Teresa works, especially around tax time. What if she made a suite of tools for tax people to make their life simpler? Then
You're
she
absolutely right.
then she just sells them tools and she doesn't have to do the taxes anymore.
Well, I like the taxes, but I wouldn't mind having a side hustle.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Well,
it's
may I ask a question though, since you called me out?
sure, absolutely.
Just did.
Okay. Say I mean, I love quantum and I love ChatGPT and Perplexity and all the rest, but I am strictly a user. I don't have the expertise, I don't think, to actually present this to someone else and say, hey, I can do this for you, or I have a team that does this for you, or whatever. So, how do I market quantum to perhaps people in the tax resolution business or
Okay.
preparers, or, accounting is changing because of AI
Yeah.
so much.
So
So,
it kind of falls back to the ACT program. You need a presentation, you need to identify the market, you need to do the market research on who they are, what they want, what their problems are. And and now with the quantum tools, that's really easy to do. So you could figure out what they want. And here's how, and I taught all the people that bought into the white label. Four of them I actually took on the boat for the weekend and I actually did it for them.
wish I could have been there.
Just to prove it. I wanted to prove it that within a 2-day period, you can have a full software business up and running. So to prove that, I took 4 people on the boat to Catalina for the weekend. And when I brought them back to the dock on Sunday, they all 4 had a fully functioning software business. I not only built out the quantum white label for them, I set up their Kartra accounts, integrated the shopping cart, put the sales pages up, and then once the box was complete, then we went in to customize the quantum and we removed whatever tools they didn't want. And then I showed them how to go into God mode and create their own tools. And I even gave them the scripts to do it in Perplexity, because inside quantum, you don't see it because you're not in white label, but in white label, there's a tool called God mode. And in God mode, it creates the GPT tools inside of the suite. So that's the tool that makes the tools inside the Quantum suite or in your white label suite. So in God mode, it asks you a bunch of questions of how you want the tool built and all that, and then it writes all the code for you. So you're just simply answering some questions and telling it what you want it to do. It does everything behind the scenes for you to build that tool. You don't have to do any of that. So I was using Perplexity, and I showed everybody in the white label, I said, go to Perplexity, put in your industry, and ask it, what problems do people have in this industry that we could make GPT tools for that would eliminate the problems? That's how we found out what tools to make for each different industry. Super simple. AI just answered it. We asked the question, we asked the right question, and we got the right answer. Then we could go back and we trained a particular string in Perplexity of how to build the prompts and the tools to plug into the God mode to build the tools. So we said, okay, now we want to build a tool for this particular thing, whatever it might be. And I gave it a list of all the things that we needed to fill out in the form in God mode. And boom, it just spit it out. We pasted it in, and there was another tool. And literally in minutes. We're building those tools in minutes, not hours or days. Really, really cool. And then even the little icon tiles. One of the things that I had Perplexity spit out was the image prompt to create the icon tile for the tool. I had it name the tool. I had it give me the description for the tool of what it does. All that stuff just got pasted into God mode, and then magically the tool appears inside the suite. And I actually used the Act Imager to create all the image buttons. So I took the prompt out of Perplexity, put it into the Act Imager, made the icon tool, and then that's one of the things that you put into the God mode of where's the image for the tool? Well, here it is. Quantum just made it for us. So it's a really, really slick system that literally anybody with any skill level could take that and build software. You could be a software developer. And like Gina and Linda and Delilah and Ben, when we got back, we were hanging out at the dock here on Sunday. And I said, you guys know what had just happened? And they're like, what? I'm like, y'all are now software developers. And it was like just the biggest smile on their faces to realize, oh my God, he's right. I'm a software developer. And they don't know any coding. They don't know, they're not programmers. They have absolutely no skill set whatsoever in that arena, but they're software developers. AI gave them that power. You remember I talked about the magic wand of you can be anybody you want with AI power behind you. You can be a graphic developer, you could be a web developer, you could be a copywriter, and you can be the best of all of them because of the power of AI. And now, with this magic wand, now you're a software developer. It's like whatever you want to be, I can crown you with AI and you are it. with no learning curve, no effort. It's just pure, unadulterated skill at your fingertips for whatever you want to do. It's unbelievable.
Hey, John, for the record, it wasn't 2 to 3 days they had a fully functional SaaS software. It was probably more like a day or two because Ben didn't get up until noon, so we really couldn't work until like noon every day. Just kidding, Ben. Just giving you a hard time. See if you're paying attention.
But we had a lot of fun too. I mean, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was a blast. It wasn't like we're like grinding all day. And in fact, if I were to be honest about it, I built out their whole white labels before we even got on the boat. I did it basically to create a flow like what Gina teaches. You need a systems flow. So I created a systems flow and I did the first one. And it took me probably the longest to do the first one because I was having to document every step and all that. But I mean, it was only maybe a few hours to do it. And then the second one was much faster. The third one was a breeze. The third one was just like dip, 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 paint by the numbers, and now the whole thing's done. The cartridge done, the white label's done, they're connected, the Zapier's done. And then Brady came out and he went on the little cruise with us, and I sat him down in front of my computer and I said, I want to have an experiment here. You've never seen this before, you've never done any of this before. I want you to go through this PowerPoint, follow the steps, and I want to see if you can do it with no like instruction. The operating procedure was the instruction, and he had no problem doing any of it. He wrestled a little bit with my mouse, but we won't blame him for that. But he was able to just follow through, and that way I knew, okay, I could hand this to basically anybody and they could do this. So anybody that wants to do the white label, they don't have to go on the boat. They don't have to have me do it for them. They could take that procedure and they could run through and do it themselves. And the same day they're up and running with their own software business. I know just about anybody could do this in a day. It's following instructions. It's not a big, huge operation to do. And there's nothing more than point, click, copy, and paste. Seriously, there's no skills required to do any of this stuff. And the cool part is you can sell this for anything you want. The way that the white label is set up for Quantum is you pay a seat license for each one that you sell, and that's a developer split. Part of that goes to the developers, part of it goes to me for using the system. And it's basically $9. You would pay a $9 fee for the seat for each one that you sell, and you can sell it for whatever you want. And that's monthly. It's $9 a month. You're selling it monthly. So if you're selling it for, let's say you're going to sell it for $100 a month and it costs you $9, you're making $91 a month every time you sell one, over and over and over. You know, it's just like free money that rains from the sky. It's the best way I can describe it. And I love when free money rains from the sky. So, you know, the more platforms I can make, the more money I can make rain from the sky. So that's why I white labeled my own Quantum and built the AIO Dominator platform. Now I have another one, another industry. It doesn't have any of the quantum tools. It's completely built for a whole different industry that doesn't care about the quantum tools. They care about the AIO tools. You know, so that's a perfect example. You know, lead by example. I tell you, you could build this for different industries. I just did it as an example. Highly valuable. I will probably sell the AIO Dominator for more than Quantum. Quantum I built basically just to help you guys get through ACT. You know, I didn't build it as a money maker. It comes down to it's attracting a lot more people into the ACT program, and it's helping those that are in it. So it's a good thing all the way around. But the AIO Dominator, that's going to be a money maker. That one I'll probably sell for at least 100, maybe 2 per month, because that's going to be to agencies. That's not going to be a dabbler's not going to be buying that. Or if they are, they buy it for a month and then they're done. But an agency will run a multi-million-dollar business around that. Do they mind paying a couple $100 a month for that tool set to do it all for them? Hell no, they pay a lot more than that. They'd be happy to pay a couple $100 a month.
I already started marketing that one, John, to everybody in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, shit. And then you've got the Rainmaker coming in on top of it to be the signals to actually train the large language models. It's going to be a win-win for everyone. So I'm really excited to see what my year-end thing looks like this year. You know, it was when I first started pushing the year-end thing a few years ago, I was just coasting. I really wasn't doing much. And I told everybody, I said, all of these things, you don't have to do everything, but each one of these that you do to add into what you're doing, it's a multiplier. The problem is if you're not making anything, it's hard to multiply that. But if you are running any kind of a business and you're making any kind of money, following that process, you can look and you can see exactly what you're doing wrong, exactly what you're missing, what you should be doing. And, like I said, you don't have to do all of it, but anything that you do is a multiplier. It's going to bring you more income. And that's what it's for. It's a look back. It's a way for you to look back over the past year and self-recognize your mistakes so you can do better next year. Because I can't fix what happened last year for you, but I can help you fix next year. And to fix next year, we have to look at last year. We got to see what you did, where you made your mistakes, maybe what you didn't do. I think for a lot of people, it's what you didn't do. It's like if you're not generating leads, if you don't have a lead magnet, it's really hard to do anything beyond that because you don't have anybody to sell to. So that's what that whole process is all about. And originally I said, maybe we should do this every year, but you probably should do that maybe every quarter. There's the bigger companies that, they've got a team, they have an army of people working for them. They make that army probably do this monthly, if not weekly. A lot of them have weekly sales meetings, weekly productivity meetings, and they're literally doing this a week block at a time. They don't want to wait a whole year to figure out what the mistakes were. They want to look at them week by week and fix them as they go. I'm just too freaking lazy for that, honestly. I've always looked at a year and, for me, it works fine. But, there's a lot of people that want to do better than I do. And they've got more gumption, more whatever. And that they should do that. The more you do that, it's like any muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it's going to get. If you really want to be a killer and you really want to make a shitload of money, you need to exercise those muscles.
That's the problem. I'm exercising my lazy muscle, John, and I'm not making anything.
I've been there. I love that muscle.
I know. I want to
My
be lazy.
favorites.
I want to be lazy and make more money than you. Let's just say.
It's one of my favorites. I exercise it often, and I'm looking forward to exercising it again. And once I get all this stuff up, I keep saying, I'm not going to do anymore. I'm not going to do anymore. And then another opportunity comes along. Oh shit, I'm doing another one. Because I've got like 4 or 5 different pieces of software in play now. Like before Acquisition Air, I hadn't really come out with anything new in a long time. I was just coasting. And then freaking Brady shows up and he's like, hey, I got this thing here, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Here we go again. So that kind of got the juices flowing again, and we're just spitting stuff out left and right. So
well, I mean, did you come up with a way for us to create the Make a Tim action figure?
actually, I haven't even had time to even think about that.
I'm going to keep emphasizing this is going to be the Make a Tim action figure. I'm going to name this is going to be named after me. I'm just saying.
We can definitely do that. You know what you could do? You could probably white label Quantum and you could make literally like 10 different tools for 10 different types of action figures. And people would probably eat it up. You could have like the different ones, like the Barbie box, or I mean, just ask Perplexity. It'll give you a multitude of options. But, just really cool, gimmicky stuff. I mean, not only the action figure, you could probably make, like the platinum record albums and, any kind of a trophy, any kind of a vanity thing. People eat vanity up, especially business owners. They're of that mindset of vanity,
Make your own movie poster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All kinds of shit you could come up with. Really, really cool. Um, and
Yeah, Golden Guitars by Tim Gillette. Gregory Santa put down there.
speaking of cool shit, I know Brady's still on here. He actually made, I talked at Craig's event about songwriting.
Hmm.
We've got three different things in Quantum to write songs for you, be it a rap song or a rock song or just jingles, whatever. And I get back from Craig's event and Brady texts me a MP3 file. And I'm like, oh God, what's this? What has he found on Facebook or YouTube now? And I pull it up and it's a song about me. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Brady, you on here? You got that thing to play?
Which one? There was three of them. I don't even know which one's which.
I I think you did three of them. You did one, and then you did one that you had a final. I have it on my home computer. I'm down on the boat, so unfortunately, I don't have it
uh,
here. But
hold on a second. I don't know which one's which. There's three different ones. I guess I'll just wing it. But
well,
uh,
if it's not the right one, you could always fire up another one.
let me see. I wonder if you can hear
With
it through
John,
the.
I just about with that action figure, I just about paid for my food at Craig's event.
That's cool.
With all the people who bought one from us, I basically paid for my food for the event. So I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. And
That's
and
awesome.
and I ended up getting a thread shirt out of it.
John, do you want the rap or like the country-ish song?
Oh, I
Oh,
want to hear the country one now, Brady. You got to play that one.
yeah, stick with
All
the
right. I don't
country
know.
there.
Can you guys? Can you hear this? Hold on a second. I don't know how to play it through my.
But like while he's trying to figure that out, if you created songs, people would pay you for that.
Yeah, I don't know how to get it through Zoom. Why
I
is it not?
think I think what happens when you do a share screen, when you do share screen, there's a button to share audio,
Mm.
share
Oh, I
sound.
didn't share screen though.
Well,
I'll try to share screen.
do
Try to share screen. It might work that way.
yeah, do share screen and then click the share sound button and the options on the right, and then it'll
All
let
right.
you flow that through.
Now I got
But
to get back to it. Crap.
you could totally you could totally make a living off selling songs about people's businesses. I don't know any business
I'm
owner
gonna be
who would
honest.
pay you for that.
Yeah, this I was just messing around one day. My wife actually, we homeschool our kids, and she was she had a Bible verse that she was trying to memorize. She's like, "Can you make a song or something?" Because she knows I'm all into AI. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh
"Sure."
gosh,
Like,
that's
I don't know
kick-ass, Brady.
how,
I
but
never thought about that.
Yeah. And it
I
was awesome. I
sure
mean,
will.
we're sitting there listening to it, and I'm like, holy shit. I mean, the music, the chords, everything was like a professional song. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah. So can you see that?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let me see.
I'm not hearing it.
Well, son of a gun. All right, where's the freaking volume?
We're not hearing it. When you did the share screen, did you click the share sound?
Mm,
Because you have to do that. When you hit share screen, there's options on the right. You have to check the
all right.
button to share sound.
All right, let's try that again.
Then it should come through.
You said that and I just didn't listen to you. Sorry.
You need that shirt that
Slow learner.
says, if it's first you don't succeed, just do what John said. But Tim, you could add that to your stable of shit to sell to your people as songs. You know, I'm surprised Craig hasn't jumped on the.
Can I interject here a little something? Oh, I think Brady's ready.
Looks like he's got it figured out now.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Doesn't raise voices, he raises standards. Doesn't sugarcoat, he sharpens answers. You don't need motivation, you need a map. And John Limbacher shows you where you're at. Most people don't have a funnel problem, they have a clarity one. That's not just advice, that's how the work gets done. Marketing is message and math. He says with fire, you're not selling features, you're selling desire. God didn't make average, you choose it. John Limbacher speaks truth, now it's time to use it. And no fluff, no filters, no guru disguise, just tools and truth and time to rise. He doesn't teach theory, he teaches control. With ACT as the compass and quantum the soul. If you're tired of guessing, tired of spin, he'll show you the edge and how to win. He maps what's buried beneath your doubt and builds it brick by brick from the inside out. You can't outsource clarity, he says without pause. If you don't know their pain, you can't win their cause. He saw the chaos, then coded the cure. Act for the message, quantum to scale it pure. Perfection is poison, done is how you grow. If you hear that and flinch, you've got more to know. You're not overwhelmed, you're under-committed. And if you won't go all in, you were never really in it. He's not loud, he's surgical. Not flashy, he's functional. Not friendly to your excuses, but faithful to your outcome. Final, God didn't make average, you choose it. John Limbacher speaks truth, now it's time to use it. Quantum is promptless, it's his brain on fire. Lighting your copy, your code, your desire. If you don't know their fears, you're selling in the dark. So he gave you the torch, now go light your spark. He's a builder of builders, blunt but kind. With tools and with truth, he's shaping your mind. If you can't get into their head, you won't get into your wallet. God didn't make average, you choose it. Now prove it.
So it's a little long, but it's like, holy crap. It's like, that's right on the money.
That is freaking amazing.
And I mean, what business owner wouldn't want something like that for their business to represent them? You know,
How much prompting information do you have to give it to know that much about you?
well, like in the Quantum Suite, you can go in there. There's the Rockstar Songwriter, and all you have to do is put your website in. It will go and it'll read your website, it'll write the script, and put you out all the song lyrics. Now, what Brady did was he went to another AI software that actually created the music, the melody, put it all together. And I demonstrated this live at Craig's event last year, we put his website in and it wrote a song about Craig. And then we took the lyrics and we went over and we plugged it into the songwriter or the song making software with AI. And it actually put the music to it and the voice. And it just blew everybody away to see me do that right in front of their eyes. So again, it's something that you could offer to business owners and sell it and make income off of that.
Well, John, like you're doing with the ACT program, all right. And I know I in my coaching program, I get people to do all these things like create their own programs, things like that. Well, you make an ACT, a quantum set of tools for each person for your program.
Mhm.
All right, and and that you sell that they sell that each coach sells that with their program. Here's the set of tools that make my program work.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot
like
of ways to go about this, but
yeah, like I said, all you're doing is you're paying a seat license and then you're marking it up and making that income every month. And then you can put a referral program together and sell, put affiliates on selling it for you. And then you don't even have to sell it. The affiliates sell it for you. Like for me, that's been the key. That's how I've always scaled all my businesses. It's not by me going out and working my ass off trying to sell it. It's putting money in people's pockets and letting them sell it. That's how I've always scaled everything. It's like when I pay my affiliate commissions the first of the month. I know you guys have heard me say this over and over. That's the happiest day of the month for me is flowing all that money out of my bank account because it just reminds me how much they all flowed in. So it's really cool. The more I get to pay out in affiliate commissions, the happier I am. So, all right. Any questions? Anybody got anything? What do you think of Brady's?
Ben has had his hand up for a while.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, Ben. Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Hey, John, have you seen or anyone on your Facebook feed, those sponsored ads for like giant AI package, one-time price, they're probably like JVZoo or Warrior Plus products. What do you know about those?
I've bought a bunch of that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I usually do that. Like I take part of the budget from what I bring in monthly to spend on stuff to find out, what's real, what I should promote, what I should get into. And I've almost without a doubt, if it comes from Warrior Forum, it's garbage.
Yep.
I have never found anything from Warrior Forum that was worth a shit. Maybe a couple info things, that maybe had, one nugget in them. That's about it. But they're really good at the promotions. They're really good at the funnels. They're really good at the sales pages and the VSLs, the video sales letters. But when you actually purchase the product, it's absolute garbage. And for a long time, I would just chalk it up to, okay, there was another one. But now I never was a refunder. I would never refund anything. But now at this point, when it's absolute garbage, I'm not paying for it. I'm taking advantage of their refund policies. And it's just I'm done just giving money to jerk offs. Because they're ripping people off to a very large extent. Now, JV Zoo has some good stuff in it, but it's few and far between. But absolutely, if you're looking at anything off of Warrior Forum, I think I'm just going to start saying no to that stuff because in 10 years, I haven't seen anything come out of there that was worth a damn. And ClickBank is the same way. They have a lot of junk. That's one of the things that, when we're talking to them, they are just starving for quality. They've got all kinds of AI stuff coming down the pipe that their people are selling in there, but it's all junk. It's all garbage. So when they looked at what we're doing, the ACT and the Quantum, the bundle, they're like, we could sell the crap out of that thing. And I'm like, well, I'd like to see you do that. So we've been working to get that up and running. And it was funny. we got the product, approved and all that. And then the guy that we're talking to, he looked at my sales copy and, my presentation and all that. And he was like, yeah, it's probably not going to sell here. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what do we need to do? He goes, you need to hype that up. So he recommended a copywriter. And so I hired this copywriter, and it was not cheap. It was like 10 grand to have this guy write a sales letter, $10,000. And we get the copy back, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm not sure this is going to be my voice reading this off because it is very, uh, very, very spammy. It's like it's very hypey. It's like, yeah, and he supposedly like really toned it down and keyed it for me, but it's not my voice, by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm kind of torn whether I actually do the webinar myself and present it or have someone else do it. We change it to third party perspective. Or
Split test both, Johnny, because I'll tell you, most people would want your direct, honest, your whole demeanor. There's not one, you know how we have mirror neurons and all that?
Yeah.
Like you are so a straight arrow that it's so refreshing to me. If you're going to go down the ClickFunnels route, it would blow people away to have an honest person talking and giving nuts and bolts. And then I would cover, not be you direct like you just said, and test out their hype and see what performs better because people are so sick of being taken advantage of.
Yeah. Well, I think they might be right though. And it comes down to market research. You have to look at the market, and the market that they're serving, they're so used to that. If I come in dull and mundane, they're not going to see the value in me, even though I'm probably 100 times the value of the crap they're buying. It's like Larry Broughton said it. You have to sell them what they want and then give them what they need. What they
Yeah,
need is
yeah, but
me.
you're not dull and mundane.
Well, in comparison, I don't know.
But I know exactly what you're talking about because I'm actually on another call that is a weekly call and it's strictly for network marketers and it's a whole different vibe. And it's like I leave my camera off because I'm just like barfing over here. But they're all like, how can I get it? How can I get it? Put the link in the chat. Put the link in the
Oh,
chat.
yeah.
And it's just so hype. But there are people that they eat that up.
Yeah, yeah. And that whole thing just makes me want to throw up.
Yeah. That's why I say I leave my camera off when I get on that call. But I'm on it because I got business from it from people that there's a few people that aren't into the hype. And so then I'm in the chat, saying
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
believe that? And then if I get them coming back, I was like, well, let's do a
yeah,
one-on-one.
yeah. I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I could wind up getting a lot of the wrong people. That could happen.
You don't want that.
Yeah, I
You
know.
don't, oh my God, you
Yeah,
don't want that.
yeah. Nobody knows that more than me. But then again, if it might be a case of where Larry's right, where you've got to sell them what they want and then give them what they actually need. And I think they would find out that I'm probably what they actually need that they haven't found yet. But I've got to be able to come across in a way that I can get the sale. Because it's like in sales, this is one of the things that Eric Latham said. He said, you have to go to extremes to make a sale that's in their best interest. And if you're not willing to do what it takes to sell to them, you're doing them a disservice if they really need what you have. And he used the example. He said, let's just say for hypothetical, you had the absolute cure to a particular type of cancer. And here's a little girl that's got that cancer and she's going to die without your cure. And you know it. And the parents are objecting because they want to go and put this little girl through hell and before she dies with chemo and radiation and what have you. And you know that's not going to work, and you know her outcome is what it's going to be. And you've got the cure and you know it. How hard would you sell it? What extent would you go to convince the parents to give yours a try to save that little girl? Because if you don't, you're not doing her a service, you're not doing them a service, and you're not doing yourself a service. So that's pretty deep. That's a lot to think about. But it goes back to if you believe in what you're doing and you know what you're doing is right for a particular person, you should be willing to go the distance to convey your value so they get it. And if people have the blinders on and they're running down a channel so fast they can't see what's at the side that will actually save them, what are you willing to do to open their eyes to it? I'm kind of looking at it that way, just hoping I don't attract a bunch of the wrong people. I can always fire them. I'm not a bit afraid to tell someone goodbye if they're not my cup of tea. I have no problem. I've never had a problem with that. So I guess I shouldn't worry about it since I have that skill set. But anyway, it's very interesting.
John, you could do one of those places where you could say, see if it's a right fit. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And you could pre-sort. I don't know.
Yeah. There actually, in the copy, there actually is some of that. And it's like almost degrading them, telling them this probably isn't for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bait and a hook. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
get them to go. Oh, yes, I want it.
yeah, it's almost taking the angle of like, not everyone is made for success, and you probably aren't if this doesn't seem like it's for you. And I mean, it's
that is so not you. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. I just I would never say that to somebody.
I don't know. If I were you, I would use your airport. What did Johnny? What's it called? Acquisition Air, and run lookalike audiences to Facebook and get your own. Forget ClickFunnels. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like.
But let me interject here also. I have a friend who's a CPA and he's been in business a long time. Just John and him are the same age. The bottom line is he told me one time that when he got his business, he took everybody on, everybody. And then over the years, he just started delete. So, I mean, I know where you're coming from, John, because I've been around you for almost more than a decade. But ultimately, with the auto system and people being much aware of what's going on, I think the percentages of downtrodders will be less than what you might be fearing.
Yeah, I think I'm probably making mountains out of molehills, but we're going to find out.
I've read the copy multiple times, and I think there might be a little bit of mountain out of a molehill, but it's definitely not 110% you. But I don't know that it's that bad. I think it would convert with a lot of folks, and I think it's like you said, what you said, Larry Brown, John, that sell them what they want, but give them what they need, and they're gonna find out really quickly. It's way different than anything they've seen. It's kind of like what Arba said with like, who is this guy? He's on a weekly call, like he's available. He gives you his email address. Like, there's training and ongoing support, and they're just like, you buy an AI program today on any of those things and you're like, where do I even find the support button? This is not even available. It's like in the back corner underneath 10 different pages, and you finally get it and it's a random email that goes nowhere to no support. So
Yeah.
it's drastically different.
Well, I've had a lot of them where, they've evergreened a dead system. So, you buy it and they say, "Oh yeah, well the training's on Monday." And they actually have the date, the current date for the Monday. And you go there and it says, "Oh, this webinar is already ended." And it's like, and then in a little digging, you find out this product's 6 months out of date and they're still selling it as though it's like fresh and just released.
Been there.
It's just like unbelievable. It's all a bunch of garbage for the most part. So
It's similar to trade schools, fly by night trade schools. They'll put on this seminar like, we're going to talk about the market and what's going on, and then you look at the lower right corner of the recording, and it's like April of 2024. They cherry picked, and it's like, and then they call me and they said, nope, you cherry picked, out of here, bye.
yeah. Yeah, but I keep buying them, in hopes of there's going to be a gold nugget in the rainbow somewhere.
That was a lot of when I was because I'm in digital marketing and for when I was using the protocol and the hears and fears, that's why I had to keep going back was because that was a lot of the hears and fears when it comes to digital marketing. It was like,
Yeah,
is this going to be bogus? Am I going to get screwed? Am I going to get scammed? Am I going to get whatever? And I was like,
yeah,
oh, let me rephrase this.
yeah, and that's what I'm up against.
Mhm.
And that was one of the things that kept me away from internet marketing for such a long time. I was just happy working in the commercial world, working for companies and making them a ton of money. And it was Perry Belcher and Ryan Dice that actually pulled me over the fence. I did some consulting for them and helped them build a program to get over one of the biggest hurdles of SEO that there ever was, a big update that wiped everybody out. And I helped them come out with a program that showed people it's not over. You can still do this. And then they promoted me on the backside as what they called the rank mogul. And that's how everybody in the SEO space knew me, as the rank mogul. So in that space, if you were a hardcore SEO, I became like a household name. I was the one that pulled them all out of the weeds and set them all back on the track. So, it wasn't until then, and I never, ever promoted myself as anything other than who I am and what I do and what I'm all about. I never went down the path of, you know, inflated claims and, unrealistic expectations and, all of that stuff. So, and here they're kind of pushing on the first revision of the copy. I went through it pretty much with a fine-tooth comb, and I knocked a lot of the stuff out and set it to realistic expectations, and we sent it back. Honestly, I have not had a chance to look at the new write that he just got done with this week. So another thing I'm going to catch up with this weekend. So hopefully we'll be closer and I can actually do the voice myself, but if not, it might be
John, you should work with Chris Ripple.
yeah, I'm talking to him tomorrow. So he's on my plate for tomorrow to chew the fat with him and catch up. And he actually sold Acquisition and he sold pretty well with it, but of his audience, he was so honest with them, just like I am. He told them who it was for and who it wasn't for, and made sure there was no unrealistic expectations. And he was able to sell a good number of them, but there was no problem people that came from him that I know of. They all came in knowing what it was, knowing what skill set you needed, all of that. So he was happy with. He also sold SitePop for us back in the day. Again, did really, really well with the promotion. I paid him a lot of money in affiliate commissions. And, he and I have no problem selling each other's stuff because we know it's good, it's honest, there's no hype or fluff. It is what it is. It's solid. So I will be talking to him tomorrow for sure. I'm really excited that he's doing what he's doing. So hopefully we'll have a breath of fresh air.
We could just take part of his copy you sent me and tweak it a little bit and probably use it for what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, did I send you his sales page on the offer?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's other than the price and some other stuff, but it's the same type of message and concept as to why people struggle. Just not more
Yeah.
of the biz op though. That's the only thing.
Yeah. Did you see the act throughout the copy that he did?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading, I'm like, wow, this is like a poster child funnel for coming right out of act. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool. So, all right. Well, anything else? Anybody else got any questions or anything you want me to cover? All right. Well, if not,
Is the training for the AIO completed yet?
training for AIO hasn't really even started yet. The only thing that we've got so far as training is we've got the descriptions of each of the tools for what they do, and that's really about it. I've got a couple of guys that are very experienced with SEO that are going through it, making notes and recommendations for me. I'm hoping that there's enough overlap in the tools that we're able to knock a couple of the tools out so there's not so many, because I'm looking at them like, holy shit, this is overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, and I'd like to simplify it as much as possible. So
Thank you.
once we kind of flush all that out, then I'll have an actual live training where it's me going through like the methodology, just like I used to do with SEO. When I taught SEO, I taught it from the ground up. It was like I wanted you to know like everything about it so you would know how to do it. And I'll do the same thing with this. But we haven't quite got our head wrapped around it yet. It's all just too new.
So where do I find the training for the quantum?
So every time in the quantum tools, each tool, when you click on it to open it up, there's a training video right in the top of the program.
Okay.
Like if you click the tool to use the tool, there's a training video right in the tool itself. And I think there might be one or two that don't have that yet. Brady's been working on the training, but I think for the most
They're
part,
done.
all done. Okay.
Yeah, the audiobook creator's done, and the AA keywords. I didn't realize that the AA, which is for acquisition error, so it's not a big deal. But I didn't realize that I didn't have that one done. So
Okay.
should be good.
And there
The
are some of the tools do require credits. So some of the ones that are really intense on the API calls, they do require credits, and it says, how many credits it'll take. Like if you're doing I think it's the audio book. Depending on how long your copy is how many credits it's going to take to produce it, because it's taking a lot of API calls to do the voices and the whole thing. So there are a lot of the tools in there are free. They're free access. You can use them all you want, but some of them, like the video tools and the ones that are requiring a lot of API calls that are costing us a lot on the back end, we had to put a system in there where we charge by the credits for those tools. So cool. There's our
I put
AI button.
Well, I put the clip from a previous training about that in the motion and video and the audio and voice. So if you go here, sorry, this this site takes a little bit on my computer, but I put a video down here. What's with the extra money for credits? It's a video right here on our YouTube page. Um, that's a like 2.5 minute video that basically explains everything you just explained for new users.
Okay, cool.
So that's on the two tabs that have credit you need to pay for. Um, but yeah, the easy button takes you right to the Quantum login. So this is basically an Act member site, and I just added the Quantum over here and have the login, and there's a bunch of stuff in here. For you, Arba, the weekly Zoom calls. Thank you for your testimony on screen and in an email. I did put a video on here, and I'm going to actually take the video from earlier today and I'm going to clip it and make it one long video. But hear what Arbor had to say about are the weekly calls worth it? So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna check it out. You don't have to play it right now.
there's a lot of stuff in here. I've added probably 20 some videos. Um, like the Freedom Formula has a training in it now. There's a lot of different things that I've taken from clips of previous calls and stuff where I'm sure people don't go back and listen to the whole call, but this is like a clip for, I think it was like a 9 minute video of John actually explaining the Freedom Formula live. So there's a lot of stuff in there. I'll continue to put more in, but I just want to point that out as far as the credits, John.
And
So,
I wanted to
cool.
make a point about the credits, and it was something that someone told me I knew a long time ago because I'm a creator and developer, and I'm a shiny object chaser, and was saying that if you use something or if you're paying for something, make sure that you are selling it. And I know this isn't no surprise to you, John, but it's like if you are actually selling that service, you have a customer that's paying for what you're doing, then you can justify whatever you're paying for. I don't know if I made sense with what I was saying. So the
Yeah.
credits are irrelevant to me if I know that I'm selling it. But if I'm just sitting there just doing videos for myself, then yeah, you're going to think that the credits are too much. Not too much, but you're going to think some other kind of way about credits because you're not making any money from it.
Yeah, yeah. In a lot of cases, and more times than not, cheap isn't the best way to go. Like I know a lot of people, they'll buy anything that's software as long as it's a one-time pay and it's for life. And I'm like, I don't buy anything one time for life because I know it's not going to be supported. When somebody's doing a one time for life type of thing, they're probably getting ready to exit the building. This is a last sweep, it's a final call, and they're not going to be around to support it. They're not going to be around to keep developing it because they already got paid. If they're not getting paid, why would they continue?
Well, it's a great lead magnet because I know I've got in on some things that was a one-time sale, and my God, they are just soliciting me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but that one-time thing probably doesn't have much long-term value.
I got my one-time payment out of it. I'll tell you that.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, Russ, go ahead.
Hey John, how you doing, buddy?
Awesome.
I was just checking to see if we got the easy button on there yet. It looks like
Yep, Brady's got the
act
easy button in place for you.
great. So the way it looks to me is in act under the different categories. What you're doing is you're just referring to a training video. And then from there you got to figure out what training video goes to what tool and then jump over to Quantum, right?
Yeah.
Um,
What
so
what I haven't done yet is I'm probably going to break it down into folders just like the way Brady had broke it down in the ACT program.
video section.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
probably create the folders just like that and move the stuff in there so it's easily
yeah, I
'cause
think that
right
would be
now
helpful.
it looks a little overwhelming at this point with
Yeah,
over
because when you
50 tools in there.
you click on quantum, yeah, you got like 50 tools. I'm like, oh my God, which one do I need?
Yeah, no, I get that. That's one of the things I'll blow through this weekend. And I mean, it's
Okay.
not going to take me any time at all to do it. It's just I got a list of stuff I'm going to blow through this weekend and see if I can get it all done.
Okay. Sounds good. The other question was the AIO stuff. When I was out with you on the boat the other week, we kind of went through that. I gave you a bunch of data back. Did you have a chance to review the data and see what our next steps were as far as training and which tools we actually are going to be using?
No, I have not. It's on my desktop ready to go. That's another one. I don't even know if I'm going to get to the AIO this weekend, honestly. There's a big list I got to plow through, but that is on it.
Okay.
That's definitely on it for sure.
Okay.
Because I want to do the launch as soon as possible for Rainmaker and the AIO Dominator because they go together. That's a dovetail event, and I've got to get all of that up to speed, to be able to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I could actually honestly do it the way I've done everything else is sell it first and then train you as we go.
Yeah, no, let's
Say
get
this
the act and the quantum dialed in first. Yeah.
this is an 8-week course and we're going to do this module this week and I can just roll it out and, do it as I go.
Right.
That model has worked really, really well for me in the past.
Wow.
It keeps everybody happy. Nobody gets upset. I get time to do it right and everybody's happy.
Well, you've had a lot of people that's been with you for a long time and they know how you operate. If you go to ClickBank and you get a whole bunch of newbies in there and they're trying to jump from section to section, it's not working, it could blow up in your face.
Yeah. Well, we won't be selling that to them at this point until it's really flushed out. But
Right.
Actin Quantum, I feel is pretty solid. I don't think there's going to be too many support issues, especially now, the way Brady's got all the stuff integrated into the membership.
Do you think you'll be adding any tools for like scripting, like do the perplexity script, the gamma and the voiceover and like that whole funnel process? Any
I
tools?
I do plan on creating a tool that will do like a presentation. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it to do a full like VSL script, but I might. Because I'm gonna take the I will give him one thing. The copywriter that did the copy for our launch, he did follow a very successful structure with it. It's hypey and it's not in my voice, but the structure that he followed, it's a very recognizable structure and it works. So what I'm probably going to do once it's all said and done, I'm going to probably pipe it into Perplexity, have it analyze the structure and the template and use that going forward to create a GPT to create sales scripts just like that. And then I'll have you put in some inputs of what it needs to know about you and your product and all that, and then it'll write the script for you. So yeah, I do plan on doing, some of those tools. But for right now, I got to get the baseline tools up first, the ones that are actually referenced in the training.
Right.
And
Hey,
then
you were mentioning earlier about the presentation that you may or may not want to do it yourself. How about your buddy Todd Gross?
I could, yeah. I mean, he's definitely one that I could call out to for doing the voiceover.
Yeah.
Because he's really good at that. He's a known voice. He's
Yep.
very,
He's a
very,
known voice.
yeah, very authoritative voice, and I think people resonate with him. He sells really well. His voice
He
sells
does.
really well.
He does. Just a thought.
Yeah, because I know him. I could definitely he would probably be one of my top picks, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to reach out to him and see how busy he is.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll talk to you in an hour.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we have our crypto call coming up at 2 o'clock, hour from now. A lot of excitement there, I'll tell you what. Some of you I'll see on there, and the rest I'll see you guys next week. So have a great week, and thank everybody here for participation and going along for the ride with us.
All ashore that's going ashore. Aye, Captain.
All right. We're
Thank you.
out.